Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. It's so great to be connecting with all of you. I'm Dr. Pat. You're tuning into the Dr. Pat Show, Talk Radio to Thrive By, right here on what? Transformation Talk Radio. And yes, thank you for your emails. Really cool to be connecting with all of you. And we are taking your ideas under consideration. For those of you that actually did go to transformationradio.fm and told us, hey, why don't you do this? Or why don't you change the color of that station to this? We take all of that in. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll email you back and we'll kind of say thank you for your idea. And so if you've got any of that you want to share with us, certainly you can go to Transformation Talk Radio and go to our comment section and do that. Or we've made it really easy. Just send me an email. Info, INF as in Frank, O, at the, THE, Dr. DR, Pat Show.com. And we will make some changes for you and make that happen. Yes, many of you are really astute around what we've been doing and how we've been doing it. And we have widened our website. So, yeah, a lot of cool things are coming. But I want to thank you all because everything you've ever asked us for, every change you wanted us to make, we've gone ahead and tried to implement. We're about 3 months out to really flip the switch on a lot of things, and thank you. Thank you for all of that. Today I'm thrilled to have somebody join us here on air because somebody that understands what it means to be in what I like to call space of nothingness in life. And that space of nothingness gets filled with every ounce of uncertainty and worry, fear, if that is the place that you're comfortable and used to going. Now, some of you that are in the nothingness, you just hang out in the nothingness and you're really okay with it. You're not there or you're not here. You just are. But if you're kind of like me a little bit, you get into those moments where you're not sure about who you are, what just happened here, what's going to happen, the times of uncertainty. Well, I've got a very special author joining me here today, and she's got something that is extraordinary. Moments, magic, miracles, and I think that word is martinis. It may not be. How to move forward in times of uncertainty. And I'm going to tell you a lot about her, but I want to get her on here and introduce everybody. I want to introduce you to this fabulous individual. Amy, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Is that martinis?
It is martinis.
You know, before we go ahead, I want to talk a little bit about you, and I want to start with your name because I didn't say your name, and I want to talk about your name, and I want to say your name, and I want you to say your name because there's an energy that I had before the break in speaking with you, and it was just really a beautiful energy. I mean, you and I basically had 2 or 3, maybe 2 minutes to chat. And there is this energy that happens sometimes if I'm alive and well and awake. And I got that sense of it. And a lot of times what happens for me is I get that sense of that energy when somebody has been through some challenges in life, especially, Amy, if you're going to write a book that's called Moments. What is it about your life that challenged you to the point of uncertainty that you had to put pen to paper?
I got to a point in my life where I could no longer hide behind a wall, and had so many things hit me at one time. Divorce, chronic illness, and then my father's diagnosis of Lewy body dementia. And I just felt like I could no longer be strong, and I had to open up to the universe and really share my stories in hopes of providing some inspiration to others.
Mm. Your book rocketed to a #1 best-selling book, right?
It did, yes, on Amazon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did. And whenever I hear something like that, I think to myself, what is it that, Amy, that you've touched upon that the world wants more of? What if you touched upon that people are so wanting to find the pathway to for their own freedom? What is that you believe that you've touched upon here?
I think that's a great question, and I think I've struck a nerve with people in being relatable, having relatable stories that touch on sadness, grief, fear, uncertainty, courage, not being enough, all of those things that we're so afraid to talk about. Because if we say it, then it puts it out there and it's real. And I think people at least have told me in reading my book, they get some kind of comfort in knowing that it's okay. It's okay to step out. It's okay to be vulnerable.
Wow. When you're writing the book and you're looking at, this is sitting down now, this is my life, this is who I am, and let's talk about who you are for a minute. Here you and I are chatting. One part of you is a best-selling author. Another part of you is a coach, a public speaker, right? You have been around helping other people get into that place of motivation, get into the flow, look at lives and hope for that we can be mindful enough for magic moments, right? Mm-hmm. And if we are at that place where we're waiting for magic moments, if some of us can't recognize what they are, I'm afraid that we blow by them and we don't see them and we don't feel them. And in your own journey and what you've been able to accomplish, and we're going to make sure folks know about you, is did you get the feather on the side of your cheek, or did you get the 2x10 in the back of your head?
Something like that. I call it a wrecking ball. I call it the vulnerability wrecking ball came and smashed me over the head and said, wake up.
I mean, how did that feel? Did you have to get to that point to feel that?
Me personally, yes. And
okay, me too.
I had to, and I had to smack myself in the face, and that I had to stop trying to live this, what I thought was, what everyone wanted, which was perfection. And so I had to tear that wall down and just basically start over and slow down. And,
when I think about this idea of moving through uncertainty, and I think about what you've done, and you talk about slowing down in the book, did you have to do what you talked about initially first? And that is stop complaining. I want to talk about stop complaining if we could. Mm-hmm. Stop complaining. Doesn't it sound like so easy to do?
Yes, it's not. It is not. And really, I do think that that's the first step. I mean, after crying, because that's, you got to sort of let it out, right? Because you don't want to deny your feelings and try to be all strong, because that's where the problems start, is in being stoic. So cry, do that, and then pick yourself up and stop complaining, stop whining, and stop letting others bring you into that place of negativity. And that's the part that's also so critically important. It's not just to stop complaining on your own, but to really stop putting yourself in situations where you're around so much negativity, because it just spirals down from there.
I love this. We're going to take a short break, but before we do, what is the best way for people to get a copy of the book? And I want to make sure that folks get over to your website because it is really rocking.
Oh, thanks. So
is that you? Is that you in the slider?
It is.
Oh, I knew it.
It is. It is. So my website is www.amyv, as in Van Atta Slater.com, and on there is a link to Amazon where you can order my book. It's also available on Barnes & Noble website as well.
And I want to just tell everybody that Amy Van Atta Slater is joining me here today. But this is somebody that you're going to want to check out. And you could really go Amy V. I want to make sure you got the V, not B. It's V. Slater, SLATER.com. You know, this is one of these books I want to say to everybody listening to the show about this fabulous author, coach, and public speaker, that when you're thinking you haven't figured out everything and maybe you think you heard everything that you need to hear, there are some tidbits in this book that I'm going to really point to today, and she and I are going to dig deep into them. When we come back, Amy, here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about, listen, what is the greatest challenge that you personally experienced that if you did not overcome it, if you did not bust the crust around it, you and I may not be speaking here today, Amy. May not be happening. Take a short break, everybody. I'm Dr. Pat. We'll be right back.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat, joined here by
Dr. Nusheen Darvish.
Dr. Pat Basili and Dr. Nusheen Darvish will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
I'm so excited to be talking about this.
We have so much to share.
Dr. Darvish and I are planning to do is connect the dots.
People suffering with all sorts of chronic diseases, it's time. It is time for them to transform.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio and help keep our mission strong.
For the loyal listeners out there that have been listening to this incredible show on Lyme disease, we are not going to let you down. We're going to come through stronger and enrich the platform for Lyme disease awareness through Lyme Talk Radio. The message will continue, the conversations will become stronger, and the healing epic.
What if your body and mind were the compasses to the secrets, mysteries, and magic of life? Glenna Rice, co-host of The Questionable Parent, is inviting you to access all that is possible. Glenna is a 10-year certified veteran access consciousness facilitator who offers an amazing variety of life-changing classes and workshops. Work with Glenna from anywhere with teleclasses and workshops all over the globe. To learn more and see Glenna's current schedule of events, classes, and workshops, visit glennarice.com.
There are so many resources out there for meditation. But did you know that Atana's Heart Earth Healing Meditation is available for you for free? Yes, that's right. You can receive this free healing meditation today from Atana Badili. All you need to do is visit his website, atanamethod.com. That's ATAANA method.com, and sign up. You will receive your free meditation instantly. That's atanamethod.com.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine, and my show is Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com. When we're bogged down with our emotions, the hardships that plague us in our relationships, at work, our finances, we literally can't see the higher plane where we could be operating from. Tune in to Leslie Fontaine, Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Almost everyone at some time in their lives ask themselves, what am I? Most of our questions are ego-generated and simply don't address the problem of our false self. It's time to relax your ego and embody your soul. Dr. Dan Cohen, neurologist, inventor, and author, has created tools to awaken a new way to transform from who you thought you were into what you truly are. Visit toolstoawaken.com today.
Are you into it? For the month of April, take a picture in your Intuit apparel and post it on Facebook for all to see and receive a reading from Lynn Brown on your Facebook page of your prominent aura color and what it means for you. Make sure you tag Lynn Brown or the Are You Intuit Facebook page with your photo so Lynn can find you. Visit intuitapparel.com today and wear your intuition with pride.
Amy Van Atta Slater joining me here today. Heard my little New York accent just absolutely butcher her name right there. I love that. Joining me here today. Success is an understatement when I think about, Amy, what you've done. And the reason I say that is we've grown up in generations where I think as women sometimes, and we're certainly seeing this in our political arena a little bit, and I'm not going to get all political on you right here, but certainly that, my gosh, really, haven't you people, meaning us women, haven't you figured out that you really can't do it all? And I'm looking at you, and I go to your website, and of course I could have expected a different website, but no, I didn't, because I've read your book, and I understand it. You are successful. You know, you're an SVP of a leading technology company, right? You know, you're highly sought after. People want to know, how do you do what you do? How do you help others? Keynote speaker. Oh, and wait, don't let me leave this out. A parent, an author. And you've taken an hour out of your very busy day to join us here. And I love this about, you know, you and I getting to show up here in life like this. So before the break, though, Amy, what I said to you is, like, think about this thing, right? It's obstacle. This thing you had to get by, get past, eat up, chew out, whatever you did with it. Otherwise, you and I may not, we may not be chatting here today about your best-selling books, about who you are, and about where you're going in life, right? What was that thing?
So, you know, I know people might be thinking it's some ailment or one of the things that I talk about, you know, a specific thing, but really the greatest challenge I've had, and we wouldn't be here if I hadn't gotten through this, is in letting go of my own perception. You know, am I worthy? Am I good enough? Can I do this? Am I a fraud? You know, you say those things and you describe my background, and I laugh and I'm like, is that me? You know, so, but if I had not let go of all of that pressure on myself to be perfect, and I talk about that wall, if I hadn't let go of that and I continued to stay behind it, I would have just lived in my little protected cage or cave, and I wouldn't have come out and been a part of the universe the way that I am today.
I'm so struck by this, you know, because on the one hand, here you are, extremely powerful energy, and I don't mean in a negative way, but, you know, a woman that's standing here, the author of the book, and for those of you just tuning in, the author of the book Moments, Magic, Miracles, and Martinis, How to Move Forward in Times of Uncertainty. Powerful topic for today. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I'm going to open up the book, and the first chapter I am going to be faced with someone that gets on air and I will cry like a baby on air, because nobody ever said to me, people that do radio shouldn't cry. And right out of the gate, that's your first chapter. I would love for you to tell us why why that is.
So I think cry is like it's a release of a pressure valve that I think the last few years of my marriage, I didn't cry. I was afraid that if I cried, that would just open up the floodgates, literally. It would open up the floodgates. And so just do it. Just cry. Cry, let it out, and then you move on. That if you hold it up and it's all this pent up, you know, all these pent up tears and sadness and everything, how do you get past it? So you just got to release it. let the floodgates open and then move forward. But that's scary. It's super scary to do that. So that's really why I start with cry. And in fact, I live that whenever I face uncertainty. I was laughing with someone because something happened with my mom and dad over this past weekend and was really quite scary. And the very first thing I did was cry. And my friend hugged me and I said, chapter 1. And then I started laughing because I noticed that I was just doing it just naturally. That, and here then I just had to take my own advice.
Well, we hear right away out of the gate, leave things on the side. Don't bring your personal life into this. Don't do that. Don't do this. And yet here you are, and we're talking about your book, but also, you're somebody that is, you're a corporate strategy advisor, right? You're someone that has to understand culture in organizations, right? Mindfulness, authenticity. You're working in an environment where failure is really not an option. And I'm talking about the corporate world, not specifically, your organization. But when we stop and we step back from the world we live in, there are some key elements to what you've written about that absolutely are significant. I want to talk with you about what you write about Be Authentic. I have found that this is one of the most challenging right here, challenging, let's just call it challenging ways to be for people, especially in the workplace, since fear of actually being authentic has overshadowed, our potentiality. And I just want to hear how you've come to know how important authenticity really is, Amy.
That's a really great thing to call out. And I think authenticity, certainly as of late and all of the reading and research I've done, it's become really a buzzword. And I'm not sure people really understand at times what authenticity is. I think some people think it means, being open about everything, which it's not the case. Authenticity is being the same person, whether you're at work, at home, with your friends, with your family, whatever it is, that you are who you are. You're the same person. You don't change who you are. Now, granted, you have to sometimes adjust to a particular culture or what have you, but you do not change your values. You are who you are. If I asked 50 people to describe me, whether they were my work colleagues or friends or family, I think that they would all have a pretty similar view of who I am and what I stand for. And so authenticity is so important, and I talk about that in my book, related to my father. And he was authentic before it became cool and hip to be authentic. And it's just be who you are. Be who you are no matter where you are. And that to me is so critical in the workplace. And I realized that 5 or 6 years ago, I was not that. And I have found my connections, my relationships with people are now so much stronger that now that I've stopped worrying about what the rest of the world thinks of me.
I want to talk about that because you really opened up a door for us there. All right. Not worrying about what the rest of the world thinks about me. And I think this is one of the ongoing challenges. And I don't know if I can, scientifically or statistically or empirically say that this is an issue for women more so than men. I do have a sense that it is, right?
Agreed.
Right. Even though we may or may not have some data, probably, I don't know, Amy, somebody probably did a study about it once upon a time. But that place, though, of standing in the knowing that we are okay, right? Maybe even fabulous, exactly the way we are. But yet, in response to so much of what an external individual or a group of people might say or think about us, what was it for you? Were you always like this? Were you kind of raised like that? Or did you have like an epiphany, maybe a spiritual awakening or something? Did something happen that where you said, I'm not doing that thing anymore?
Yeah, I do think it's this awakening that was a combination of things. And I think it's that I got so tired. I got so tired of trying to be all these things for other people. And it was draining, physically and emotionally. And I think I got to the point where felt like I didn't have a choice. And a lot of it stemmed in the workplace when I felt like I was not being authentic. And I realized that when I really was true to myself, that I just had better relationships and more success. And when I realized I couldn't do that in the workplace where I was in, I had to make a change. And I think that was I was in this huge place of transformation, personally and professionally. And I think I just went all out and all in to move forward.
I like that, all out and all in. I love that. It's kind of like the visual I get from that is us taking our skin on the inside and just pulling that thing out, and all of a sudden we're completely transformed in a way that not only we don't understand, but not another single human being on the planet really would be able to depict that thing right there. We got a lot to talk about with Amy today. When we come back, we're going to be telling you lots more about moments. But for those of you out there, again, Amy, would you mind just letting folks know again the best way to find out more about you, your website, and also coaching programs? And here's the thing I love about this. Take a look at, the work that Amy does. Take a look at the work that she does for herself, but take a look at the work that she does in organizations as well. Leadership coaching is extremely important right now. Extremely important. And when we come back, Amy's going to tell us more about that. But let's have the website again, if we could.
Sure. It's Amy, V as in Victor, Slater.com. And you can find out more about me there and where to order my book.
All right. When we come back, we're going to say, you know what? You've heard this term before, be the change. What does that look like, though? What does the be the change thing look like? And it's one of my favorite things every year that I strive for, to be the change. If we actually do that, does it get really uncomfortable? Yeah, I don't know. For me, it does. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Artie Hoffman is the hottest psychic with the warmest heart and the host of the hit show Angels and Answers. A renowned psychic, medium, spiritual life coach, and an entertaining motivational speaker, Artie has helped over 15,000 people with his amazing intuitive gifts, his passion, and his humor. Call 877-ANGEL-02 to schedule a personal reading or to have your own psychic Artie party. That's 877-ANGEL-02. And visit artiehoffman.com and Angels and Answers on Facebook.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Song of the Heart, Walking the Path of Light, from author and healer Francine Vale, is available now. Through Francine's life story, we learn how imperative it is to love one another. Once this simple truth is learned, peace on earth will prevail. Song of the Heart is a life lived and a story told for this purpose. To learn more about Francine and her amazing gifts, or to order your copy of the book today, visit angelsandlightbeings.com.
The doctor is in. Tune in to the hit show, The Psychic Love Doctor, with host Deborah Lee. Deborah's life-affirming, highly perceptive reading method has taught Deborah how to zero in on specific problems with relationships, career pursuits, and current roadblocks to success and happiness. Join Deborah Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, and for a special broadcast the second Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
My play, The United States of China, is about the trial of Miriam Hopkins, who is a metaphor for all that America stands for. It's the year 2018. America has become the United States of China. We've owed China trillions of dollars we cannot pay. Consequently, we default.
How long do you think it will take this financial empire to crash and crumble? just like that.
This is more than a play experience. It's a movement to create awareness and empower people to be in action. We are strong together. We will always prevail. Get your tickets today at americathestrong.com. What a great, I'm having such a blast. That's what I get to do is I just have like a good old, like we just have a great show. But guess what? I got copies of the book to give away right now. Fasten your seatbelt. We got 3 of them. 3 copies of Amy's book right here. Moments, Magic Miracles, and Martinis. 1-800-930-2819. And by the way, if you call in, want a copy of the book, and you have a question, just let Benny know. 1-800-930-2819. We'd like to give it to the first caller. Please give us a shout. And, we'll see how that goes. And I know many of you are listening from your phones or you're listening from your computer. And we also have a way for you to go to Transformation Talk Radio. On the right-hand side where you're seeing that listener comment box, just type in your name, your location, your address, and, for the first person that does that, I'll give you a book. Be the Change is where I was kind of, stuck. But I cannot do Be the Change without another chapter, so I'm going to kind of like double up on you if I could, Amy.
Sure.
All right. Be the Change. Oh, wait, and then stand for something? Together? Do you want me to do both of these? On the surface, it sounds like they're totally related. But I want to really hear in your experience of how to create change within ourselves. And when I say change, I'm talking about positive change. That's the world I live in.
Yeah.
Right? We've created what's called the positivity movement. That's the world I live in. So I'm not talking about change where, it's just a crazy place. So how does that work? How does Be the Change and stand for something work?
In terms of Be the Change, I think it kind of even goes back to the whole Don't Complain chapter 2, which is we spend so much time looking outside of ourselves for the world to change around us to make our situation better. And so we play this victim that, well, I can't be this way because you're that way. Or the world is not nice to me, or I can't do this because I don't have enough time, or I've had this plight or this experience. So if you continue to look outward for the change, it'll never happen. And so you have to look inside and change the inside because it's your own perception, it's your own choices. Those are the things that drive change. And in the process, don't be afraid to stand for something, even if it's not popular, even if it's not popular among your peers or the rest of the world. And no one's going to just tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, you just won a prize and, or you just got this promotion because we like you or because we think you've done a good job. You actually have to stand for something. You have to lobby for yourself and be your own advocate. And so it's really important personally and professionally in order to move forward is to be the change from inside, not look at the outside world to make the changes for you.
And as I said before, for those of you out there, Benny, just let me know that first copy of the book is gone. I'd love to give another one away. 1-800-930-2819. How were you able to decide, Amy, what to stand for? I want to talk about this for a little bit because it's really been quite a journey for me. I had many opportunities in my life to really look at, where I was or where I was where the discomfort within myself resided or where the anger, where the fear resided and, suppressing that and not taking a stand for it. And I know it took its toll on me in many, many ways because that's what happens when we hold back our freedom, right? But how were you able to explore the essence of who you are, to know that?
You are getting deep.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's fantastic. I'd say, first of all, I had to do something because of my, chronic illness, intestinal issue. which is clearly a relationship between your mind and your body. It's not just about the foods you put in, but it's about the connection between your mind and your body. And so it meant that there was just something not working. And I also started to ask more questions and to listen and to see what mattered to other people. And how did people respond to me? I kind of had to do my own survey, if you will, kind of mental, emotional survey of people around me. And how did I get a positive response from people, or when did I get a negative response? And I found that the more open and transparent I was, and it's not the difference between being honest or dishonest. It's just about being transparent, that the people, I had just more people coming towards me instead of having that wall and being so aloof, that I really felt like I had to stand for trust, and for that, that people could come to me and feel that they're not being judged. And I'm not so sure that I was always like that. But I just started to listen more to what people how they were responding. And I think being a parent certainly helped me figure that out, because when you look at your kids, and they're a reflection of how you live your life. And I wanted to make sure that I was standing for the right things, so that I was a good role model for them.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that fascinating what happens, in the eyes of babes? That, sometimes, I don't know about you, but in the workplace, I could find places to hide. I could hide from my boss. I could hide from my coworkers. I could hide emotionally. I could hide in many, many ways, but not from children, right? Not from children so much, even though we think we might. There's a way that we can't. Doesn't it bring us to a whole new degree of truth? And what I mean by that is, isn't that the place we have to get to before we can do, as you say in the book, find the magic? You know what I mean? Don't we have to get to that place of introspection where we get to examine ourselves, but not examine ourselves and then beat ourselves up, but truly examine ourselves on our journey in a very, very honest way? Otherwise, how can I count on the magic showing up?
Exactly. And like you said, kids are first of all, they're brutally honest, right? And they'll just tell you. And I have 3 daughters, and you can bet your bottom dollar that they're going to tell you exactly what they think. They think about what you wear, what you say, how you act, and they'll say, "Don't pull that psycho babble on me," or whatever, But they know, they know, and they're really a good guidepost for moving forward.
Yeah, and they do tell you, right? And I have I'm an auntie for a little 8-year-old, and so I'm always aware, right, of how I am in her presence. It's a beautiful, beautiful, angelic, just strong young woman, right? Strong. Yes, an 8-year-old, she shows up as a young woman, very, very strong. And I'm really struck by the maturity, the old soulness. So whenever something is said to me, I really take it to heart. I take that to heart, deep heart. What have been in your world, if you don't mind me asking, because the book is about moments, magic, miracles, and martinis. And I know for me, some of the more painful places I've been in my life, emotionally, so to speak, have been the greatest portals for freedom. Have you had anything like that?
Absolutely. And I would agree wholeheartedly that the greatest transformation takes place often in mistakes or pain, suffering, and that's really where you learn. And certainly divorce, is something that I know, unfortunately, many people can relate to.
Yep.
And you're losing something, right? And there's this grief associated with it, and there's so much anger, whether it's something you want or don't want. There can be all kinds of anger and resentment, but a lot of it then is also beating yourself up, like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done differently? Why me? And so it really, that's where you start to do a lot of soul searching. And then it's letting go of the dream, especially a dream that so many women have, is the fairy tale dream about marriage and family and what it looks like. But then being okay to let go and say, okay, I'm going to reframe what family is for me, and to realize that my kids have two parents that love and adore them. And we're in a place where we do a really great job of co-parenting. I never would have thought that 5 years ago. But and that's where, like you said, is that, what is that? It's that portal to discovery, that I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't gone through all of that. And we've gotten to a place where we do a good job of raising the children together but apart.
Yeah. And, here we are today talking about moments. Precious. Moments are precious. Sometimes life goes by so quickly that we don't recognize. And yet we're living in some of the most uncertain times I think people feel. Most uncertain times that we've lived in a really long time. But there's this idea of not being pushed by our past and by our fear, but moving towards something. And you talk about it in the book. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking with Amy about what this means. What do we move toward? And how do you do that in the face of uncertainty? If you're uncertain, how do you know where to put that first step? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers, with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Shine On Radio. Find Your Shine with Kelly is the show that celebrates what makes you, you. Join co-hosts Kelly Wadler and Dr. Pat Basili as they break down how to brilliantly fuel and move your body and love what makes you shine. Kelly is a professional arts and wellness coach dedicated to helping brilliant women find their confidence, energy, self-love, and shine. Tune in to Shine On Radio with Kelly and find your shine on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
TheAngelLady.net. 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 1-800-323-1790. 1-800-323-1790. Sue Storm. TheAngelLady.net.
A word of caution: if you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthisfunny.com today.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Thanks for calling in, getting your copies of the book. For those of you that trying to squeak in here, squeak away. 1-800-930-2819. We have another copy of the book to give you. Mr. Benny's right on it, 1-800-930-2819. Find out more about us. Go to the drpatshow.com or go to transformationtalkradio.com. Or, by the way, just got an email from one of you. Yes, transformationradio.fm is not up yet. That's our new network. It's going to have 10 brand new channels, all positive conscious talk. Go take a look at them, but not all the channels are active. You're absolutely right about that. So thank you for doing that. And for those of you out there, Amy, great to have you on the show. I know we're talking about a lot of different things today. I really appreciate your flexibility in being here with us.
I love it. Thank you.
Oh, what a great book. I mean, what I didn't say about the book is that you've also included in the back moments, journal entries, some beautiful, beautiful prose in here, beautiful things that you write. And I was really struck by, this latter chapter, the one that you call move toward. And, it usually says move forward, move this, move that. But people talk about being pushed by the pain a lot. I don't like that anymore. As a matter of fact, I'm not feeling the love for the pain much. But what you talk about here is just so beautiful. And you talk about your improved approach to facing adversity and uncertainty. And you reference a very cool book. Let's talk about that if we could.
Sure. So this is the one that we were just talking about with the Pema Chodron, right? Yep. It's really talking about, failure, right? Why do we always look at failure as such a negative thing? And think about the way we raise our children, the way we manage people, the way we view ourselves. And, shouldn't, if you're, writing on the board of all the things where you made mistakes, then you ask yourself a question, but what did I learn from it? And I remember my dad telling me a story one time, and my dad has a PhD in biophysics and very intelligent man. And when he was a freshman in college, he came back and he got like D's because he was playing basketball too. And he was so scared to tell his father, who also had a PhD, that he was getting D's. And his father said to him, but did you learn something? What did you learn from it? And on reflection, I think I just really didn't pay attention to it at the time. But when I think about it, that's so important, is what do you learn from it? And so it helps you move forward, right? Move towards something. And know that it's a risk. It's a risk, but it's a risk you're willing to take, because what is on the other side can be a glorious opportunity. After you fell down, you pick yourself up. What's on the other side?
The idea of being in that place of not knowing is so very important. And I think that for me, when I went on my healing journey, very similar to what you described, having things that you could count on, my body in particular, I could count on my body. When the walls were falling around me, I could always count on my body throughout my whole life, right? And then when you can't count on that, you don't really have anything left on the outside to really look towards. You have to look within. And I think that's what you're inviting us to do. In a world sometimes we're so motivated by what's in the headlines, what's not in the headlines, who's doing what, who's getting what. We still continue to look through that lens. But you're asking us to take a look on the inside. How do you see that in the world? How do you see that step to look on the inside as helping people build a bridge to a new sense of freedom, so to speak?
Yeah, I think, one of the chapters I write as well about the inside is called, healing from the inside out. And that's both physical and emotional healing. And until we do that, who are we when we go out into the world if we haven't figured out what's going on inside? And it just makes for, I get the chills. It makes for just this amazing, magical opportunity when you just take down the barriers, and then you just go, you step outside. I mean, and it's this sort of bright light, not the bright light that people say right before they die.
Yeah.
But it is to look at uncertainty as opportunity for something amazing to happen. And I face this every single day of things that I never imagined would happen. But I turn the corner and there's something really cool, and all the synchronicity that comes into my life, it's crazy. And you do it by looking inside, because you're not going to find it on the outside just naturally. You got to go inside first.
Yeah. I mean, and when we take a look at going inside, some people see it as a really scary place, but I want to get back to something that you also write about. I want to revisit it around this, because this idea of being authentic isn't just to be authentic in the outside world. I think one of the hardest things, for me, that I've learned in my life is that level of authenticity and truth-telling starts with me and how I look at myself. Not myself in comparison to you, or myself in comparison to somebody I see on the TV, but having a sense that I get to look at myself as not that I'm not less than, and I don't have to strive for a standard that somebody else puts forward. And what would you say you've learned about that to help our listeners today in being able to stand tall as we do stand for things?
I think the lesson that I give myself, or that I would give others, is treat yourself like you would treat maybe a child, right? And treat yourself with compassion and comfort. And when you're scared and when you're uncertain or you made a mistake, instead of beating yourself up and whipping yourself, what about you give yourself an emotional hug? Like, that's okay too. That the kinds of things we often say to ourselves, we would never speak out loud to another human being and tell them those things. You're not worthy. You're not this. You're not that. What do you say to your child? It's okay. You made a mistake, sweetheart. We'll try again. But do we say that to ourselves? No. You say, you're an idiot. Why did you do that? I can't believe I just made that mistake again. I'm a failure. But don't do that. Think about how you might treat somebody else if they were going through the same thing. And then you might have a lot more comfort that you've given yourself, so that you can go ahead and stand strong and say, you know what? All right, I'm going forward. I'm going to go for it. And I think that that's a way to move forward.
I love it. Thank you so much for today, and thank you so much for all that you do, and being a model for people, because I do believe in models. I remember interviewing Gloria Steinem once, and I remember asking her a question, and she said, all of us stand on the shoulders of all that come before. And certainly you have created some very broad shoulders for so many people, to kind of lean on and stand on and learn a new way of being in life. Thank you for joining me here today. One last question. What is your personal message? Amy, what would you like to leave us with today?
I'd like to leave the listeners with the thought that anything is possible when you slow down and just and open and be okay with stillness. Because stillness is where you find the magic.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining me here. Please give out your website again and tell folks how to get a copy of your book, if you would.
Sure. It's www.amyv, as in Victor, Slater.com. And there's a link there to order the book, as well as on Amazon and Barnes & Noble online.
I love it. I want to thank everybody. Yeah, just like Amy just did right there. I want to thank everybody for tuning us in and turning us on. And for those of you that are thinking about what's up next, we have more coming on Transformation Talk Radio. And don't forget, at 1 o'clock today, Lime Talk Radio. That's a show that I do. So everybody out there, have yourself a fabulous one. And remember the moments. We'll see you next time.
preceding audio was via a Skype call.